Hello, 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 and welcome to Lunchtime with Dr. T. Dr. T, I am Dr. T. My name is Dr. Tiffany Ross. I was trying to get Instagram on here. Let me see if I can get them on. And I'm so glad to be here with you today on Facebook and Instagram because I got them on now. And I've not been on all of my channels at the same time in a very long time. So I'm really excited about this, but I wanted to make sure I come on and answer a viewer question that I got on last week. And I typically do not answer viewer questions live a whole lot of times, but I knew that I needed to, but I knew that I needed to answer this viewer question live because if someone has a question, I almost can guarantee you that a lot of other people have the same question, but they're too afraid to ask. So I'm Dr. Tiffany. I am a relationship trauma expert, and I specifically specialize in helping ambitious women stop working hard for love and learn how to break their unhealthy relationship cycles, even if that bad relationship or unhealthy relationship probably would be the better term is a marriage. And I have to explain that because a lot of people think that you can be in a relationship or in a marriage and it not be healthy or that it be unhealthy. But yes, you can. You can be in a very unhealthy relationship, and that relationship can be a marriage as well. And there's a way that you can begin to change those dynamics and have a healthy relationship, even if it's a marriage. So thank you for joining me on today. So the viewer question, let me see if I can get it popped up here for Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, you won't see the pop-up. Facebook may see the pop-up. I'm so sorry. I am streaming from StreamYard. And Facebook may not see the question, but here's the question. So how do you know if you've reached new levels of trust? Hey, I can't see who it is that's coming on Facebook, so you have to tell me your name. I'm so sorry. I'm using StreamYard on today, and they're not good. The privacy settings will not let me see your name. So you have to let me know who you are so that I can know, so I can, comment accordingly. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so I'm going to plop the question up on the screen here for you, Facebook. And for Instagram, the question is, how do you know if you've reached new levels of trust in your relationship? That's the first question. And then the second question is, how does a 10-10 trust level in a relationship look like? So that's what we're talking about today, trust in relationships. We've specifically been talking about emotional trauma in relationships over the last, I'd say probably over the last month or so. And so this question, when it came across my screen or came across my message, I was like, oh, this is perfect, because a lot of people do not know what trust should look like in a relationship, but we do know that trust should be there. And if you don't have trust in your relationship, then chances are you don't really have a relationship. Y'all got a situationship or what's the entanglement, but an actual relationship, a good one? No, you don't. Because trust is at the very foundation of any relationship. I don't care if it's a relationship with your mother, your father, your significant other, your child. Trust is always at the foundation of any relationship. So trust is that lets us know how important trust is. So for the first question, let's do a little bit of foundation here. Trust happens in layers. If I can answer your question, viewer. Trust happens in layers. So we achieve new levels of trust by building the foundation the right way. So what exactly does that mean? Trust helps build connection and intimacy. It helps make sure both people are connected. It helps make sure that both people are being treated with respect and being treated right inside the relationship. But it is built through consistency, honesty, and mutual respect. And if you do not have any of these components, what I'm talking about, chances are you do not feel comfortable. Secure is the word that we use in therapy. You don't feel secure to really continue the relationship. And if you do feel, continue the relationship past that point, even though you don't quite feel secure, then that's where you get a lot of jealousy, you get a lot of anger, you get a lot of resentment, you get a lot of the toxic relationships that people talk about, you get a lot of back and forth. It's because you did not pay attention in the beginning when trust was being formed or is being formed in the beginnings of the relationship. You ignored the red flags and you continued on, even though there were obvious red flags. You didn't feel secure enough to continue the relationship. So you don't necessarily form a bond that you need to form in the relationship. So I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into that. So how can we determine, or how is trust established exactly? So of course I had to dig out some of my research here. Because I like to give accurate information. I'll just throw information at people. Trust is formed two different ways. Number one, attachment theory. And I'll tell y'all a little bit about what attachment theory is. And then number two is simply how the person is treating you. So attachment theory. I'm going to be talking about attachment theory in the coming weeks because attachment theory goes perfect with red flags and emotional trauma and all that. But attachment theory is just how bonded you felt or still feel with your primary caregivers. Now, when I say primary caregivers, we're talking about your parents or whoever raised you growing up. How connected did you feel with them? How bonded did you feel with them? Did you feel like they were going to come through when they said they were going to come through? Or did you feel like, they may come through and they may not come through? They're very inconsistent in how they parented you. And therefore, you kind of form this idea that people that you love, people that you trust are either not going to be there for you. They're not going to be consistent. You can't trust them to do what they say they were going to do. So in order to go back and see or to look at how you view trust, you have to go back to the beginnings. What did trust look like between you and your primary caregiver, whoever that is for you? Now, I had to be transparent because that's just kind of that's what my business is about. It's about transparency. I feel like that's how people know that you're a real person. Yes, I'm a therapist, but I'm also a real person. I wasn't raised by either of my parents. I was raised by my great aunt, who I love dearly, and I love my parents very dearly. But I learned, because I struggled with abandonment issues, that for me, trust meant that love was going to be inconsistent. They may be there, they may not be there sometimes. And all of that played out in how I interacted in relationships. Now that's me, but what does trust look like for you? What did you learn from the people that you grew up with? What did they teach you about love? What did they teach you about trust? What did they teach you about you and how you can interact with them? What concept of trust did you learn from the people that raised you, that reared you? Or if you end up rearing yourself, like a lot of people, then what did you learn from that? What did you learn about trusting people that you were supposed to trust? So out of that comes rejection issues. I think I looked at abandonment issues that you can't trust that they're going to be there, or the people that should have been meeting your emotional needs. They did it, or they may have been emotional neglected, or they may have been physically neglected. But look at those things when we're talking about trust, because that's attachment theory. And then the second part is, how does that person treat you? And this is the part where I'm like, we overlook this so much, because especially if you don't have a healthy relationship with your primary caregivers, you will almost always find that the same relationship that you had with your primary caregivers, mother, father, or whoever raised you, you mirror those in other relationships. And especially when you go into intimate relationships, marriages, committed relationships, you tend to always mirror that if you hadn't had the work. Now, a lot of people have gone to therapy. They're doing the work. They're doing what they need to do in order to repair those attachment issues. And you have a healthier outlook on what relationships should be and how they should look like. But let's be real. A lot of people don't. And so we take all of those issues, the abandonment, the rejection, the insecure attachments, and all that. We take all of those and we go into quarantine. It's because I hope we don't end up going back to quarantine. I just said that as a side note. We go into quarantine, or we marry, or we partner with people who bring out all kind of insecurities because you hadn't worked through them. And then you're like, okay, what do I do with this? What is going on? Why am I not connecting with this person like I want to connect with this person? So it's almost like two rocks doing this, trying to connect, but you can't connect with that person because there's some issues there. And almost always those issues are related to your foundation, your primary caregiver. So it definitely impacts how you trust or how you look at trust in a relationship. So I hope I fully answers your first question, viewer. So for the next question, and if you guys have more questions, please, by all means, ask your questions away and I'll answer those. So the second question is, what does having a 10-10, or what does 10-10 or 10-10 trust level in a relationship look like? Now, this question here is kind of interesting because I was like, a 10-10, and it's like, what exactly does a 10-10 trust level in a relationship look like? So in my first mind, I was like, well, that's going to depend on the person. And some parts of it does depend on the person, because all of our expectations are going to be different. What you expect in a relationship is going to be different from what I expect in a relationship, because what we need are going to be very different. But at the foundation, a 10-10 relationship should look like safe. I should be able to express how I feel. I should be able to say, this is what I need. I should be able to say, this is what I desire, and the other person mutually respects that. And there's also space for the other person to also express what they want, need, and desire. So that's foundation of trust in a relationship. And then there's secure. How secure? Yeah, I am country. I am from the South. How secure do you feel with the person that you're with? I do not care if you've been married for 5 or 10, 20 years. You've been with this person 30 years. Or however, it does not matter. It does not matter. At the beginning, I said that unhealthy relationships could happen even if you've been married for 15 years. You can still absolutely be in an unhealthy marriage. You can. So what does it look like? What does that secure attachment look like in your marriage? Are you able to fully be yourself? These are some questions that you need to be asking yourself. Are you able to fully show up as yourself, and the person love and respect you as showing up as yourself? And if you're questioning, like, am I able to do that? And is this, am I really able to fully be who I am, and the person embrace it? Then chances are you're still in the process of building trust, or you don't feel very secure in that relationship. So that's going to impact going to that next level. Okay, and then the next part of what a 10-10 relationship, a trust level looks like in a relationship, is being able to balance that individual time, how much time did you have and spend with yourself, with how much time you spend in the relationship. Now, here's where, people get into relationships, and I get so, like, I don't even know the word that I can put to it, but I get so annoyed. That's the word. I get so annoyed when I see people go into relationships and they put their absolute all into the relationship, and we don't see you. Like, where you been for the last year? I mean, I understand we've been in COVID for, since 2020. I understand. I get that. But where you been for the last year? What's wrong with your phone that you can't come up for air for 2 minutes to say hey to your friends or go hang out? That's not a healthy relationship. Healthy relationships don't require for you to put your 100% of you where you do need to put 100% of you, because a healthy relationship is 100% of you showing up with 100% of them. but there's space for you to still maintain who you are. And if you're in a relationship where you feel like you have to cut off who you are in order to be in that relationship, but you can't still have friendships, and and I can't still go out, and I can't still hang out with my friends, and I can't go see my family. Now that's a big red flag if you can't go see your family because someone says you can't go see your family, or they don't want you around certain people. That you're edging into a very controlling, maybe manipulative relationship, and yeah, you're going into an unhealthy relationship. But in a 10-10 relationship where there is trust, there is a healthy balance of you spending time with yourself, being yourself, engaging in things that you like to do, and also being with that person. It's a healthy balance. It shouldn't be either or. It shouldn't be you're always to yourself. You're always the loner. You're always isolated, because that's not healthy either. We need connection. We're built for connection. We're built for community. That's how we get connected. That's how we get to the levels of intimacy that happens when the trust is built. We need that. We shouldn't be isolated, and we definitely shouldn't be isolated from our partners. So you need that healthy balance, and then you need the togetherness. You need times that you're just spending time with your partner, or that you should always be pouring into your marriage. And I say that to myself too. We should always be pouring into our marriage, but that doesn't mean that we always have to be together. That don't mean that we always got to wear the same outfit. I mean, no shade to the couples that always wear the same outfits and stuff. No shade. That's how y'all do y'all togetherness. Then you do you, boo. You do you. No shade. No shade. But there should be a healthy balance of you being able to be yourself, and then you being with the other person, or having that time where you spend together. Is because without the togetherness, you can't plan for the future. So you need that healthy balance of being yourself and the togetherness. And then another aspect of it is respect. 10-10 relationships always have respect. Respecting who you are, respecting what you believe, respecting what you value, respecting what your dislikes, respecting your boundaries. Now, I'm not going to get on my spill on boundaries on this one, but you guys know I'll go on my spill on boundaries. Respecting boundaries. Don't eat my food in the refrigerator if I said don't eat my food in the refrigerator. I'm sorry, don't do that. Don't drink my drink, and don't respect. Knock before you come in the bathroom. Like, if that's your requirement, all couples don't have that, and that's okay. But what are your boundaries? Respect. So it has respect. And then the last part of that is commitment. How committed is this person to the relationship? That's what 10-10 trust levels look like in relationship. They're committed. It's hard to stay in a relationship. It's hard to be in a relationship and say that you're working on trust if there's no commitment. You don't really know if that person's going to be around for the long run. So why would you pour your all into it if you don't know if they're going to be around? So 10-10 levels always involve commitment. And if you are dating someone, or if you're in a relationship with someone, or a marriage with someone, and you're absolutely not sure whether they're going to stay around for the long run, then it's going to be very hard for you to build higher levels of intimacy with them. But once these foundations are taken care of, if I know I feel safe with you, if I know that I feel secure, I can be myself, I can relax, I can, for lack of better words, I can let my guard down, and I can be myself. But I also value that time that I spend with you, and there's mutual respect and commitment, then baby, we can take on the world. We can just about get through anything. That is how important and how valuable having trust is in a relationship. So, I don't have anything else. I hope I answered the viewer's question, but I will open the floor if anyone, either on Instagram or Facebook, have questions for me. And as always, because I know that, a lot of people are shy and they don't want to, say their questions out loud, and that's completely fine. I think I have some comments. Awesome. Hey, Kayla. Hey, Marie. But and I know people are shy about saying their questions out loud, which is fine. Message me your questions. I'm completely fine. I keep it completely anonymous. No one knows who you are when I answer my questions on live. No one will ever know who you are, or if I just answer it in a post, no one will ever know who you are because I value confidentiality and I value you. And I know that if you're answering me privately, then chances are you want it answered privately. So I definitely will answer it anonymously. But I'm so excited. I always love these moments. I love these times that we get a chance to share. But that's all I have for today. If I don't see any questions, I don't see any questions on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today. I look forward to seeing you back on next week on Thursday for lunchtime with Dr. T. You have a fantastic day and if it's fantastic week weekend coming up, and make sure that you're following the group. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can always go and request to join the group. It's still the Heal Retreat. Where the Heal Retreat's on pause right now, but I am definitely still taking one-on-ones, and the book me tab for that is also in my profile on Instagram, and it's also in my profile on Dr. Tiffany Ross page, where you can book me for a consult if you have questions, or if you know that you need something that's just a little bit more intense, or have a ton of questions, or need a little bit of guidance, then a consult is going to be the next step for you. You have questions. The message can only get you so far. Me hopping on live and answering your message can only get you so far. But when you need strategy, you need something a little bit more intense. And that's what my one-on-ones are designed for. But you can book me right from either of my profiles, either on Facebook or Instagram. I love you so much. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.